Hey guys, time for another episode of Day in the Life of Vintage Classic Specialist. So as promised, Project Ugly Duckling has arrived. Probably, I'm guessing most of you, I'm assuming pretty much everyone watching is a car person of some sort. So most of you are already probably guessed what this is based on its silhouette. But if not, I'm gonna not quite spill the beans here on it yet. Let me save that toward the end of the video and talk about today, and then we'll come back to that and try and have a little fun with it. But even if you've guessed what it is, you have no idea how ugly this thing is until you see it. So keep that in mind. Anyway, yeah, so today we pretty much went ahead and tore into the 61 convertible. As you can see, we pulled the gas tank here. Actually, Jacob did that. And it's a good thing that we are going through the fuel system because you can actually see where the fuel lines and stuff were leaking. And this whole area under here was pretty much wet with this nasty old gas that smells like turpentine. So yeah, it was definitely, the owner definitely made the right decision to bring it in and have the car kind of gone through before, you know, just trying to fire it up or whatever. So yeah, gas tank came out and we're going to replace all the soft fuel lines with new fuel line. Obviously, we'll flush out the hard line and then, you know, of course, replace the soft lines at the back of the car and probably go ahead and put a new reserve valve in it. His is here and it's actually looking pretty bad. You can see corrosion on the actual pickup tubes and I wouldn't necessarily want to put that back in the car. And here is the filter for it, which I would be surprised if any gas would go through that at all. I mean, you see holding it up to the light, I don't know. So I think that's probably all going to get replaced. I didn't include it in the estimate because I didn't really foresee it being that bad. But yeah, I think it's the right call to replace that as well. And yeah, actually, you can see the bottom of the tank. This thing had just been like seeping out this nasty turpentine scented old gas. So tank is going Monday to our friends at Tom's Radiator Service down in Old Town Orange for them to boil out and see what they can do with this tank. So that's that. And then in the meantime, Jacob went ahead and pulled the front drums here. So as I predicted, the brake shoes are fine. You know, again, the car was built about 18 years ago, I think. And I was pretty sure it hadn't been driven so much that the pads would be shot on it. And as I suspected, the pads look great, or shoes rather. So pretty much I'm going to put on new rubber brake hoses, new wheel cylinders. We're going to go ahead and replace the master cylinder, as I mentioned before. You know, the little line that goes between the reservoir and the little hard line here, we'll replace that. We'll obviously put in a new little seal where the hard line goes into the new master cylinder. So yeah, just replace all that stuff. Not worth taking a chance on old brake parts especially. So there you go, there's that. Let's see what else. Oh yeah, so the other thing on this car, at the back of the car, I went ahead and pulled the carburetor. Also a good thing that I did that. Let's see here. Well, there's not really much to see here, but carburetor's off. And sorry, this is dark back here. I didn't think to carry my light with me. But what I found was that the fuel lines between the hard line and then between the pump and the carburetor, they're the correct cloth covered lines, but when I bent the lines, I could tell that the rubber hose inside were actually like very crispy and kind of cracking and stuff. So again, totally the right decision to go and replace all the rubber lines on this car. So let me show you here the carburetor. I'm in the process of rebuilding it now. It was a Solex H3031. These are pretty good replacement carburetors. These actually run pretty well. So took it apart, submerged the base of it at least in Berryman's for about half an hour, and used carburetor cleaner on all the parts, got all the jets. This air corrector jet was totally clogged actually. It did not have a central hole in it at all. Pretty much just filled with crud and dried gasoline. The pilot jets were pretty clogged up. So yeah, this thing was a mess. So it's going to be as good as new when I get it back together and should run great. So other than that, on the EV Beetle, which you see is actually gone again, we went ahead and rolled that over to Octavio's shop for them to do the carpet kit in it, hopefully early next week. But before that car went over, I went ahead and raised the front suspension about an inch on there to kind of level it out. Those of you that watch regularly probably remember I was talking about the car was overall pretty low, and I thought it looked great, and I would drive the piss out of it that low. But the owner, who I don't think has ever owned a Volkswagen before, much less a slammed one, I don't know that he would really enjoy going half a mile an hour over speed bumps and entering and exiting driveways all sideways. You guys know the routine on these cars when they're lowered, or any lowered car for that matter. So I didn't want it to be too low. So the car's up an inch now, front and back, and then it went back over to Octavio's for them to do the carpet kit, and then the car's going to be done before too long. Anyway, without further ado, why don't we go ahead and unveil this thing, which again, I'm guessing most of you have already figured out what this is. And I wasn't kidding about it being ugly. So what we have here is a 1969 Porsche 911T Targa. And yeah, this is it. So I had a potential customer contact me about this car. The car belonged to her late husband, who in 1992, he actually crashed the car. So he did that front end damage there. And he drove the car home from that accident. And then it's sat in their garage since literally 1992. So she contacted me, and she was interested in my shop, basically replacing that front fender, doing whatever was needed to get the car to be a running, driving car. And then from there, she was going to sell it. And we kind of looked at the value of what the car would be if we did all that work versus what it would cost to do that amount of work. And financially, it just didn't really make any sense. And so she opted to just go ahead and sell the car as is. And so I went ahead and bought it from her as for my personal collection, for lack of a better word, and also for a shop car here, so that we can learn how to work on Porsches. So the plan for this thing is to obviously replace this front fender. She already has, her husband bought a lot of parts for this car, so it came with a big pile of parts, one of which is a front fender. I haven't seen it yet. It's in a big box. I don't know if it's a new one or a used one or what, but supposedly it's nice. And then with it is a new headlight assembly, the new front turn indicators. It's got, I think, all or most of the new trim for the car for the sides. Yes, those of you who know what I'm talking about, those are real deep six Fuchs wheels. So those are pretty rare and desirable. But yeah, lots of extras with the car. There's at least one pair of rear taillight lenses with the car. A little bit of body damage back here, not too bad. A little metal work and stuff like that is needed. The thing that puzzles me the most about this car is that the owner before the people I got it from, the woman I bought it from, so the guy that her husband bought it from, her late husband, painted it this god-awful brown color. I mean, the car originally was was Polo Red, which is a pretty great color. It's kind of like a deep red, not real bright like the 80s kind of Porsche red, but more of like a little bit darker, more muted red. Actually a lot like, kind of reminds me of ruby red, the VW color. But anyway, for whatever reason, this dude painted this car brown, and I can't imagine what would be going through someone's head to paint a red Porsche brown. But anyway, so at some point I will probably give the car a full paint job and return it to its proper red color. But the main goal is to replace that fender, go through the brakes, go through the carburetors, rebuild them. Let's go ahead and pop the deck lid here. And get it to be a running, driving car, have some fun with it, and then, kind of start working on doing a more extensive restoration of it. So here's the motor. So one issue with this car that brings its value down a little bit is this is not the original engine in the car. This is actually a 2.7 liter, the long block in here. So from, I think, 70, I'm still learning Porsches. So I think those started in about 75, maybe a little sooner than that. But anyway, this is a 2.7 long block, which I believe has the carburetors and stuff off the 2 liter that would have come in this car, 2 or 2.2. Again, I'm still learning Porsches. But I think it's all the carburetors and everything off the 2 or 2.2 liter motor stuck on a 2.7 long block. So kind of cool, kind of a hot rod. But again, that does bring the value of the car down some. But, again, I'm just kind of in this to have fun and to learn how to work on these. So, I'm not super concerned about the value of this car as far as, maximizing money if and when I go to sell it. So, but yeah, we'll go through the motor, clean it up, make it look good, pull the carburetors out, throw rebuild kits in them, probably replace all the fuel lines, kind of similar to what I'm doing to that car actually, to make it, get the old nasty fuel out, get crispy fuel lines out, rebuild carburetors, pretty much exactly what we're doing to this convertible here. And then, fire this thing up. Again, when he wrecked it, he did drive the car home. So, ran when parked in 1992. So I have very little doubt that it'll start up and run once I go through the fuel system. And so there you go, guys. This is Project Ugly Duckling. So you're going to be seeing a lot of this here in the shop. Probably mostly work on this on weekends and, maybe early mornings or late afternoons or something. Because obviously working on this car, which is a personal car, doesn't really pay the bills and put a roof over my head. But, again, it was kind of fun to work on and learn about. And then at some point we can start bringing some Porsches in the shop, hopefully of customers, and work on theirs too. So anyway, that is it for today, guys. Hope you enjoyed this. And I guess today being Friday, we will see you again Monday. So thanks for watching. See you soon. Bye.